My day was good.
That's good.
How was your day?
Horrible.
Why?
You ruined it.
How did I ruin your day?
Last night, fighting in bed.
It was a disagreement, and then we texted about it this morning, and I said, let it go. I let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. It's okay. We're good now.
Well, we are. Yeah.
So, this week, you wanted to start off with a question for the people.
I did. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. So I did a thing this week. Me and two girlfriends, actually, you know them, Krista and Sarah. The three of us went to the local piercing studio / tattoo parlor, and two of us got our noses pierced. The other one, Sarah, got an ear piercing because she already had her nose pierced. So this is my question for the world. My question is not, is it cute? Is it fine? Is it great? Because it is. It's real cute, right? My question is, am I going through a midlife crisis? Is this the universal sign for 30-year-olds that I'm going through a midlife crisis, getting the nose piercing? I can't wait to be able to change it out with a cute little hoop. We're going to be taking a little road trip and hiking trip to Oregon later. And I think that's going to just like fit right in with all the really cool West Coast peeps.
And
I don't know. Am I going
30,
through?
We're on the back half of 30.
For sure.
The back, like 3/4 back.
AKA, is it a midlife crisis? Is it? I don't know. I think it's fun. It might be a sign, though. I hear that everybody similarly aged might be considering it.
There we go.
I'm very pro.
It looks hot.
Thank you.
Looks
You were
good.
the one who encouraged me to do it. I don't think I would have done it had you not been like, do it. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well,
what do you think? Am I going through a midlife crisis?
no.
No?
It's all right to accessorize and
I'm just accessorizing.
add some flair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, it looks great. I think it's good.
Fill me in. Is it a midlife crisis? Is it just accessorizing? I don't know. But I encourage you all to go ahead and do it and join me in this club. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially go with a few of your girlfriends. You know, going to the tattoo parlor, those experiences are things that you're going to remember forever. So, and you can always take it out if you don't like it.
I'm going to get my nipples pierced.
All right. You do you.
No. Anyways, this is an episode by the people, for the people, listener write-ins.
Excellent.
And we had quite a few. We had quite a few novels.
I love it.
We are going to tackle a couple of them.
All right.
So,
before you dive in, this is Midwest Married. Thanks for watching us. I'm Amy.
And I'm Matt.
All right. It's just us tonight. So here we go.
Hi, Amy and Matt. I'm loving the podcast. I just have an issue that I could use a little help with. I'm 9 months postpartum, and my husband and I are trying to get our sex life back. We're having issues because our baby still sleeps in the bed with us. I know, not ideal. We're also having issues because I just hate how my body looks right now, and I can't believe that he's really attracted to me. Between the sagging breastfeeding boobs and loose skin on my stomach, I'm just grossed out by myself. I don't have the confidence that I used to have. He says that I'm beautiful, but I find it really hard to believe him. We've only been intimate a few times since baby has been born, and each time hasn't been great because of my insecurities. I do work out, eat healthy, but my body is still hanging on to some of that extra weight. How do I get over myself and get my confidence back?
That's a great listener write-in. I think that is something that women struggle with quite often, especially after childbirth. I know that I did. Your body changes and becomes something that can be kind of unrecognizable after giving birth to yourself. Like, not only are you adjusting to some new experience where you're needing to find a new identity within yourself as a mother. But then physically, yeah, your boobs are different, your stomach is different, your thighs are different. Everything can be just a little bit different. And so finding that confidence to want to be intimate with somebody, which is a really vulnerable thing, can be really hard. So I totally get this one. I really empathize with this one. I think I had a lot of very similar feelings with this one. I kind of, before I dive into my thoughts on like, okay, well, how do we move on and how do we start feeling like ourselves again, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see your perspective. If you like dig back into the vault of, our postpartum experience, what were your feelings towards me after my body had very much changed?
Yeah. I can think back and remember that there were some frustrating times in there, not because your body changed or anything like that, but just the lack of, I think we had a similar, as you said, you could relate to this. I can relate to this.
The frequency decreased.
Yeah.
You had other priorities, like keeping a human alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frequency decreased, and I did still find you attractive and want to be with you and spend time with you. And yes, your body changes, but that doesn't mean that I was not attracted to you. I was still attracted to you. That never changed. I still wanted to be with you. There were just some needs that needed to be met. And at times it was harder to fulfill those needs. We had kids that slept in our room and slept in the bed from time to time.
Or we were sleeping in the living room because
sleeping on the living room.
Kids had the bedrooms. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that time.
I guess I would say that if you have a good partner and somebody who recognizes that there are changes that happen to a woman's body as you go through pregnancy, though, that's not going to affect their desire to be with you. And yeah, I think everybody has insecurities as well. As you get older, metabolism slows during pregnancy and the years, thereafter. I definitely packed on some extra pounds that I wasn't carrying. And
you developed the dad bod?
Yeah, had the dad bod for a while, and that's not super great for anyone's self-esteem, right?
It never impacted my desire of you.
Right.
Right.
But you always looking like, oh man, I am slipping. I need to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
So I think everybody goes through insecurities. I think that if you have a good partner, a supportive partner, you work through it together, you communicate, and yeah, I don't think that the desire ever really faded.
I think one thing that might help is thinking about, okay, what truly is one of the very most important maybe goals or key factors of intimacy. And at least for me and in our relationship, it's that connection. It's emotionally feeling connected. It's that vulnerability. It's that physically being connected. And so thinking about it that way and being like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is a way where, okay, we're going to work on our relationship and our connectiveness, because my guess is as a new mom, you and your partner are probably not feeling very connected. Probably not, because the demands of that child are probably so much that it's probably taken away a little bit from your relationship together. Or I think that's a very normal thing. I think it happened to us. Your shifts just change. My priority was no longer Matt. My priority was making sure that this kiddo stayed alive and that I got some sleep. That was also a very high priority of mine. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, or maybe it was more like I felt like I had the safety of being able to know that, okay, this is my child, my infant, is priority number one, and perhaps intimacy is lower down on that priority list, and that's okay. And that's a safe thing to do, to be. It's still an important thing because we still seek that connection. That's really important just in a relationship in general and in a healthy marriage. If you shift your thought process of like, what is the goal of intimacy? It's just connection. I think that might take some pressure off of your goal is not to be picture perfect. Your goal is
to be connected with your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot to start.
I think that is too. A very wise friend of mine, Krista, you saw her last episode. She told me, I think even before I gave birth for the first time, Amy, it's going to take you and your body 9 months to create this child. And your body's going to go through a lot of changes. You need to make sure that you're giving yourself some grace and give yourself at least the same amount of time, if not more time, before, to give your body some grace before bouncing back. So, and I hate that term, bouncing back. You know what? We change, we evolve. We're stronger on the other side. I think it's okay. And it's absolutely okay for your body to change, for you to change after pregnancy. I don't think it reflects poorly on a woman at all.
Yeah. I agree.
For me, we did, 2 babies, 2 years apart. For me, that was a really, really hard time, at least for like me to be able to focus on me. I couldn't. Right. And so I don't think that I felt like myself for years after I had babies. But I eventually did. I'm not trying to and some women do. Some women do. They get right back to where they were and they had a great routine beforehand and things just work out great for them. And that's fabulous. Everybody's path is just a little bit different. But for this specific listener who's writing in and who's not feeling like herself and is struggling with how do I just accept these changes and these imperfections? Know that your husband is already giving you grace and that you can give yourself that same grace too. Trying different positions that perhaps make you feel a little bit more secure in yourself, that might be fun. If you're looking for some practical ways to, kind of get back into the bedroom.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I think it's a personal journey. I've definitely been there. But if you seek that connection first, give yourself some grace, know that your husband is already giving you that love and support, then hopefully you'll be able to get there.
Yeah, I just think if he's trying to be with you, trust that he is desiring you.
Okay, that's a good male perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't got a lot to contribute after this point. I think you covered all the things that I would have said. Good job.
All right, very good. Well, take it from Matt. He still wants you. He still thinks you're beautiful. So just go for it.
There we go.
There we go.
So some of you, I would say probably about a month ago when we were in California. No, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
November. Time's flying.
Time flies.
We read a story about someone whose fiance or boyfriend was addicted to pornography and was watching pornography on that person's birthday and events. And they were in the same house together, and she felt pretty betrayed by that. So,
yes,
but
he came out and admitted to a porn addiction.
Correct.
Yes, I remember that story.
Well, they wrote back in.
All right.
So here's a quick update.
I like updates.
Thank you so much for the advice, because I didn't feel like I could go to my biological family. I feel like you all hit every thought that I had. Yes, you can see time and pages and where they clicked on within the history page. Dang. That's how I knew he was doing it while I was working from home in the next room. Time for the update. We are still together. We did separate into 2 rooms in our house for a while, but have now moved back into the master together. We sat down and had the longest conversation. Here are some of the things that we agreed on or brought up. Neither of us thought it to be cheating. We all watch porn, so we never had an issue with actual porn. We also agreed our sex life is the best it has ever been, and that neither of us, body issue or connection, was driving him to this addiction. We agreed for him to go to therapy or start figuring out what triggered his addiction. I laid out my feelings to why I was upset, which was due to how much time and dedication that he was putting into this. He would tell me he couldn't finish chores or help with anything because he would run out of time during his day. To me, that time was time that he chose to just not help and would use this time selfishly for his own personal gain. He agreed and he felt horrible and knows that he could have spent time to help the relationship when we needed to learn how to live together. We also agreed for me to cut back on doing everything so that I could work on my mental health, general health, and focus on my family. My personal thoughts today are that I do have resentment still, and I am working on trying to let things go. I'm also trying not to feel the need to look at what he's doing or check in on him, because who wants to do that for the rest of their life in a relationship? I'm also working on being intimate and feeling connected to him on a sexual level. The takeaways I do have are that he has been helping more since we've had the conversation, and he does check in to see how our relationship is actually going. So we know where we're at and what we can work on next. I'm still hoping to get a ring at the end of the year. We're going to stick it out. Thank you for all the advice, and I'm glad I made the choice that you guys had recommended.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like that was like, a really like one of the best possible ways that could have gone. You talked about it, communicated really in a healthy way. He's agreeing to get to therapy to kind of get to the bottom of this. You were able to express like why it was such an issue, and he validated that and recognized that that was important, that instead of him wasting time, he could have contributed to the relationship and taken some of the stressors and work off of her plate, which it sounds like they're going to do. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think that he probably recognized that the addiction wasn't a great thing. So going to therapy, addressing why he had this. It was called out on the last episode that when we did this story, how comfortable we were with porn. And I think that...
I thought that was a really interesting take, especially people from different countries being like, hey, this is weird how much you guys feel like it's kind of normalized. Yeah.
Yeah. I
kind of think so too, honestly.
Yeah. I will say, I also recognize that it can be extremely harmful and damaging to a lot of different factors of your life.
Yeah.
Especially if you're addicted to something.
Addiction aside, I think at least in our culture or the culture that I had grown up in, it was kind of viewed as just a thing that, especially for boys, like, well, of course, they'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
Which is,
So
it's an interesting thing. So
it is interesting.
Yeah, I think that is one really cool thing about this podcast, where it reaches so many different people, like from Australia and from like all over in the world, and sharing their experiences and their viewpoints and how culturally things might be different. I've learned a lot from a lot of our listeners, so I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, porn.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
All right.
Next one. We have Javier joining us. Hi, buddy.
You good boy?
You good boy.
You good boy? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Good dog. All right. I want to tell my dad I have a boyfriend who is 26 and I'm 21, and we've been together a year this January. I have a very strict Mexican father But everyone in my family, including my extended family, has met my boyfriend, except my dad, who is extremely conservative. I'm not really sure how to go about this and tell him that I have a boyfriend, as he currently does pay my tuition and my rent. I am over hiding my boyfriend from home, even though he says as soon as you get a boyfriend, you aren't going to finish school, which isn't true. I am extremely passionate about construction management. How would you approach telling a dad like that? Thanks for all your advice. Love your podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for listening. Good question. It is so hard to confront parents sometimes with things that you know that they're not going to be approving of, or they're just, even if it's not going to be favorable, like something that they're going to like respond to in a positive way, if they're going to have doubts, if they're going to share negative feelings. Yeah, it's hard. I saw my dad for the first time today after I got my nose pierced. This is not the same, by the way. I'm not putting this on the same level. This is much more superficial.
You're 38 years old.
I know. But seriously, when I went and got my nose pierced, I was like, what are my parents going to think? We're still very close with my parents. They live down the road. They help us with our kids all the time. We're like, that was one of the reasons why we chose to kind of live here, and they're a big part of our village. My dad is helping us build our house. We legit could not build our house without my dad. He's a carpenter and he's amazing, right? So he came over in the morning for coffee and he was like, what'd you do here? And I was like,
really?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I got my nose pierced. Me, Krista, and Sarah, we went and we got piercings. And he was like, I never thought that piercings, nose piercings. I think you might maybe ask me like one more question, like, why'd you do it? I was like, I think it's cute. It was fun. It was just something we wanted to do. And he was like, it's not my thing. Your mother and I don't know. We just never really felt like that was ever an attractive thing or like a good thing or blah, blah, blah.
But did he say it looked good on you?
No, he never did.
We should take we should take your mom to get her nose pierced.
Oh gosh, no.
Let's do
She never would do it.
We should give her your fake one. That'll be fun.
That would be funny.
That'll be fun.
So yes. No, he was like, nope, not my thing. And I was like, I like it. And that was kind of it. And we moved on. And then I spent the day with him working on our house and putting a top plate around our second floor and putting in cripples for a window and
great,
et cetera.
Well, Cindy, if you listen to this one, let's do it. It'll be funny.
There you go.
All right.
Well, anyway, so my point being that A, I was nervous about it. B, I know it's a totally different level. But C, so I think it's kind of natural to feel nervous about telling something to your parents that you know they're not going to like. And D, it's okay for you guys to have different opinions. And it's okay for you to choose what is right for your life and have your parents disagree. And I think ultimately with this one, here's my piece of advice, because you're worried that they're going to disagree with your decision to have a boyfriend. Kind of luckily, you've already proven that it works, right? Because your dad's argument was that you're going to have a boyfriend and you're not going to finish school and things are going to go, you're not going to be able to focus and go chase your dreams and do the thing that you want to do. And so I would have, before your boyfriend meets your dad, I would sit down with him, maybe over coffee, bring him a coffee, make it just the way he likes it. Be like, hey, Dad.
Or beer.
Or beer. Yep. Say, hey, Dad, I want you to meet someone who's really special to me. I know, and acknowledge it, I know that you have not been a fan of anybody being in a relationship before, I don't know, graduating college or whatever it may be. But say, this is something that I don't want to keep from you. I want to be I want this person to be involved in your life because you're so special to me. And I really, really want you to meet him. We have been dating for close to a year now. I know that you are really worried that my studies would fall by the wayside. I hope that you can see that, if anything, my partner's just been really, really supportive of my dreams. And if anything, has helped me succeed further. And he's coming over for dinner, and just rip the Band-Aid off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's bad advice?
No, honestly, I was going to say you have two options. That was the first option, was to have a legitimate conversation, sit your dad down and say, hey, Dad, just want you to know, I've been seeing somebody for a year. I still am very passionate about school. I just want to reassure you, 21 years old, your dad's not dumb by any means.
Do you think he already knows?
Yeah, if everyone
Probably
in the
does.
family, in the extended family, has met this person, my guess is that somebody in the family has brought it to his attention, like, oh, have you met so-and-so? Or did you meet so-and-so? That would be my guess. And your dad is probably waiting for you to be honest with him and come to him, is my guess. So that would be option one, is have that serious conversation. Hey, I'm 21. I'm seeing somebody. You ain't going to be single forever. Sorry. Option two is keep playing this out for the next 3 years so you get that rent and that tuition money. Don't risk it. I'm kidding.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, but it seems like she wants to bring her boyfriend into the family, kind of.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
So that was a
I mean,
joke.
maybe it is a little bit of a risk if you think
jokes.
if you think that your dad would cut you off for having a boyfriend. It doesn't seem in your write-in, it doesn't seem like you're worried about him cutting you off.
Well, she brought it up, so I feel
like maybe there's like a worry, but
so it's definitely on the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, a lot of people pay for their own schooling and rent throughout school.
It's doable.
If this guy is worth it, go with option one.
Mm-hmm.
So you've dated for a year. Seems like he's going to be around. There's no point in hiding that. Your dad's going to understand. You're 21 years old. A 5-year age gap. That's not...
I don't think that's crazy.
That's not horrible. 26 and 21, meh.
I don't think it's crazy. Might be okay to throw in some flattery. Oh, Dad, you're the best. You've been such a good role model, etc.
He's just like you.
Flattery doesn't hurt. Sincere flattery. Make sure that it's real, right? But you can do it. Please let us know how it goes.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had something important to tell.
Well, you and your mom are like open almost. I feel like...
Yeah, I'm
trying to think about like what you have ever kept reserved. You've always been very secure in yourself, where you've been like, this is what I'm doing. This is what's going on. Take it or leave it. And you haven't been afraid of the confrontation that would follow for that.
Yeah.
Which is good and surprising, being an admitted people pleaser.
At the time, we were supposed to inherit a family dog, and we chose Javier over here, and I had to bring that to family. They didn't like that.
What dog were we supposed to inherit?
Bear.
Oh, no. But I don't think that it was ever serious.
All right. I got a short one, and then we're going to follow up with a longer one on the tail end.
Okay.
All right. Pretty simple, but how do I tell my long-term partner of 5 years to stop micromanaging me? It can be as simple as, I'm done using the restroom. I, of course, wash my hands, and I get asked, hey, hon, did you wash your hands? It's starting to drive me up a wall. We're both 29 years old and currently engaged. For the love of God, help.
It's hard when you've been together for 5 years, like for so long, and this has been just the way things, unless it's a new change, right? Maybe they don't really say, is this how it's always been? Is this a new change? But that very specific example is real interesting to me.
Well, micromanaging, right? So
what would be other examples, do you think, in line with that example?
Did you shut the oven off? Did you put your toothbrush back on the charger? Did you lock the door when you left? Did you shut the stove off? Did I say that one already?
Yeah.
I might have, because
you're focused on, you don't want any house fires.
You don't want any house fires.
No.
Did you brush your teeth this morning? Did you put deodorant on? I don't know. I'm not micromanaged. So I don't know. Like at work, it would be, hey, how many dials did you make? How many emails did you send? Did you call all your people? Did you
follow
go
up
above and beyond? Did you follow up?
Such?
Pop. Shut the fuck up. Of course I did all of those things. These are things that you shouldn't be asking me right now because it's just common knowledge and routine, and it's frankly none of your goddamn business.
All right. I would not recommend that approach with your significant
just
other.
like that.
But perhaps those are inside thoughts.
Yeah, internalize
right?
those. And then present it kindly.
Yeah. I can see how that would be stressful and perhaps a tidbit annoying.
I want other examples from this guy.
I know. I want to hear. So do you have, okay, I went first last time.
Did you make the bed this morning when you got out? Did you?
Absolutely not.
Did you make the bed?
Absolutely not. You can see
you should.
If I did or did not. Passive aggressiveness, I would not recommend also, but that's tempting. So I went last with my advice on the last one. So I think you should go this time.
I think they know.
Yeah. Spell it out.
Ask your partner what in the F is wrong with them and why they think they need to micromanage you. You're an adult. You can handle washing your hands after you go to the bathroom.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a second question.
Okay, go ahead.
Pretend that I am doing this to you. How would you bring this up to me seriously?
The jokes, people. All right. Hey, yes, I washed my hands. Is everything all right? Or am I doing something that is bothering you right now? It seems like you are really overbearing with a lot of things I'm not sure matter, or I'm just really confused. Can you help me get to the bottom of this?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are you asking this right now?
And that, I think, is the real thing, right? What is the root of this issue? You've kind of recognized that this isn't super normal behavior in a relationship. Is there something else going on where your partner feels like, I don't know, they feel out of control maybe in their life, or they're struggling with anxiety? Are they struggling with a little bit of OCD?
Or what did you not do?
Or was there a specific instance where now he's really worried about you washing your hands? Or she, yeah.
They?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. I think that is the biggest thing. Like, hey, let's sit down. These are the things that I've noticed. I've noticed you ask me if I've washed my hands after I've gone to the bathroom. I've noticed that you're always checking in and making sure that I have done X, Y, and Z. I feel like I'm responsible for those kind of things, and those are really like my responsible things that I've got this. But can you help me understand why this is such an issue for you? I think that getting that answer, and maybe they won't know. Like, do you think that this person would know why? That they feel this need to kind of micromanage in the relationship, but not even in the relationship, like that's a personal hygiene thing.
Maybe you're slipping. maybe you're not self-aware enough and you're neglecting some things. Maybe they're noticing it. You're not washing your hand. She's again, whoever
Partner.
They're micromanaging. So that means that there's other examples and other things that are coming up. So
That seem above and beyond the norm. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have no good answer for why they would do that. I'm just trying to come up with something. But
okay. So there's got to be a why, whether they know the why or not. And I'm sorry to kind of jump in here. After you know or you don't know the why, I think that then the next step would be, hey, when you point out or ask me, did I wash my hands? It makes me feel this way. It makes me feel like you think I'm incompetent. It makes me feel like you think I'm dirty. It makes me feel like you think I can't handle normal everyday life. This is what I need from you. I need you to resist. I need you to trust me to do my thing. I need you to lay off those questions. If it's something big, if it's something important, sure, absolutely ask away. But if it's these teeny tiny little things, I need you to trust me that I've got this, because I do. So
I like that.
Ask the why. So here's the recipe. Ready?
Okay.
Ask the why. Tell them how it makes you feel. And then tell them what you need from it. And hopefully that works.
I would also like to know, is this a new thing that has come up? You've been together for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is this new, or has this been constant throughout your relationship and you are now just realizing? So really think, who am I marrying? And maybe this is just who they are.
Could be.
Can they change? I'm not sure.
We should never really be trying to change our partners. I think that we can grow together. But at least in our relationship, it was never conducive to think, if only he would change and be this way.
Look at how I tricked her.
You're funny.
It works. She can do it.
You gotta be able to accept them as they are, because there's no guarantee for change, and you're never going to be able to change someone with who they are. You guys can grow together. That's okay. But if that's the core, that is who they are, I mean, that's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Then you should just love them for who they are.
Yeah.
Or you can choose that they're not your cup of tea, and that's also okay.
It's not too late.
Even after 5 years.
Even after you've been engaged.
Even through all of that, you have the entire rest of your life. So make sure that you're making
ready.
those good decisions for yourself. I love these listener write-ins. Thank you guys so much for writing in and trusting us with a little bit of advice. And also, if you totally disagree and you're like, nope, I don't think that's going to work for me, that's also okay. No worries.
Yeah. And there's one other, I just want to throw this out into the universe. There are a few that I haven't gotten to, and I'm working through piecing them together. We have somebody from Minnesota, also a novel. I can't fit it in tonight.
We love Minnesotans. We also love people who aren't from Minnesota.
Also, how to recognize red flags. That's going to be an episode by itself.
I think
I like red flags.
I think that would be a good
so
episode.
if you wrote that in, just know.
On your TikTok, is there a guy who runs around with either a red flag or a green flag for and plays little snippets of like a TikTok?
He did run around my TikTok For You page for a moment, but...
Oh, he's gone?
He's
apparently
gone.
liked his stuff. He's still on my For You page. I don't know who he is. But anyway.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Novel.
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Matt and Amy. I submitted the same story to Father Knows, but the more I sit on it, the more I feel like it belongs here. So here it goes. I was lucky enough to meet my person very young. We fell into each other's lives flawlessly, like something out of a movie. It's love I never thought was real. We met when I was 20, just before my 21st birthday, and just before his 22nd. We're now 25 and 26 and just celebrated our 4-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
From the beginning, we both made it clear we wanted kids. We've discussed every possible thing around the topic of having kids that we can think of. We're planning on getting married in 2028. So just trek out there. Just putting that out there.
But you guys have like your plans, like your 5-year plan. That's good.
So 2028, and we're going to start trying after that. Having 3 kids max. Raising them Montessori with very limited screen time and a dog at their hip.
Love
Of
it.
course, there's much more to this conversation, but I just want to be clear that this was always our plan. I've been a nanny since I was 15, and he's dreamed of being a father since he knew what a father was. At the same time, I have struggled with fertility issues the entire time. I have hormonal imbalances and don't ovulate, and a plethora of other problems that I knew would make it difficult to get pregnant in the future. I decided to go to the doctor this year to get a full panel and try to get to the bottom of this so we can make our plans for 2028. If we needed IVF, we would have to save considerably, and I just want to be prepared. I could have never been prepared for the answers I got. At 25, I've been told that I'm running out of time to have children. I don't know how to explain the science jargon, but my doctor told me I either need to freeze my eggs this year until I'm ready or have kids as soon as possible because I will very likely not be able to have kids. Every year I wait, my egg supply will weaken and the chances of genetic abnormalities will increase. I never thought I'd have to consider my body being genuinely unable to carry children this early in life. We never thought our timeline would have shifted so much. We currently live in a rented home with his side of the family, including his mom, brother, and a few others in a very large home in a very high cost of living area. We're all trying to make it work together as long as possible. I'm terrified to be the thing that ruins that. We wanted to be living alone before having kids because his mom tends to be pretty controlling and we don't want to be steamrolled by her in our parenting. It's hard to convey how difficult of a thing this is to deal with. I only just decided to go back to school to become a librarian. He hasn't found the career path he's passionate about, and neither of us make the kind of money we need to start our family just yet. We can't afford to move out on our own, and if we can't figure this out, everyone would have to move because of us. Move from the home that my boyfriend's father died in before anyone is really ready, just because my uterus has decided to be annoying. Do I take this as a sign that I'm supposed to have kids? Do I take it as a sign that I'm not supposed to have kids? Do I bite the bullet and just do it, even though it's not ideal at this point in time? One more wrinkle is that because I'm ovulating so rarely, I'm likely releasing multiple eggs at once. And the medication that I have to go on to induce ovulation will also increase the chance of releasing multiple eggs at once. This makes twins, triplets, more highly possible and puts me at a risk and makes us likely to have to make a decision in reducing the pregnancy if necessary. How do I put myself in this position? How do I not when kids are all I've ever wanted? Honestly, this is just so much and I don't know what to do.
That's a lot. First off, I'm just going to say that you and I feel like we would be besties in real life because you're going to be a librarian and I bet you have a lot of really great book recommendations for me. And so I feel like we have that connection already. Second thing is I cannot even imagine how hard this decision is for you, being that this has been like you and your partner's like dream since you were little, like before you even knew each other, like having children and having a family. It sounds like that was something that was super important to you and something that you really, really aspired to. So I think that makes it really tough because you recognize that right now, especially while with your current living arrangement, it's probably not the ideal time. So from the get-go, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to have your concrete answer because I think only you are going to be able to answer that for yourself, you and your partner. What I am going to tell you is that I think you do have a lot of really good things going for you. Number one, they've been together 4 years. Number two, they both have known for the longest time, ever since they were babies, that they want to both have babies. They know that is like a common goal that they share between the two of them. They want to have a family. Number three, they do have a village, it seems.
Yeah.
Right? Like they kind of play that their living situation is a little bit of a not, like suboptimal conditions to have a child. And perhaps mother-in-law might be a little bit controlling. And you know what? That might be too much. It might be too much, right? I don't know the relationship that you have with your mother-in-law. Sometimes people who are a little bit controlling might be also fiercely devoted and fiercely an advocate for people. Like I would kind of say that your mother is perhaps in that category, right? Like
heard it here first.
She knows what she likes and she knows how the things that she likes to be done, but she also was very, very supportive and very helpful when we've had infants. And when you do have a baby, having that village surrounding you and helping you and taking care of you is definitely not a bad thing. Perhaps there is a way where you could have a little bit more space. I don't know where your setup is in the house, if you've got the basement, if you've got, just a bedroom, or is there a way that you can make sure that you have your privacy during that kind of vulnerable time of your life, postpartum time of your life, within that house without you having to move? Or is there somewhere nearby where you can rent a small apartment where you still can have your village come and help you out? So I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing. I think that this is all a risk and benefit sort of situation and game, and you are the only person who can weigh those risks and benefits for yourself. So the risk is infertility. Unfortunately, you have a condition that makes conceiving more difficult. Doesn't mean that there aren't more roads that you can travel. There are medications that can help with conception. There's IUI, there's IVF. There's many different ways that you can pursue to have a child. I know that it's really tough because financially that also can place a burden on you. And so in that way, starting younger and seeing what happens might not be the worst thing in the world. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
But if you are in your current situation and you are like, I cannot imagine having an infant in this household as we are currently, like that would be hard stop. That would make me not enjoy the experience of having my child. You might want to pursue finding other living arrangements or setting yourself up to be able to enjoy that, right? Risk and benefit. Is it going to be worth the risk of infertility to delay it? Or is the benefit of having a child earlier while you are in your current situation worth it? I don't think anybody can answer that except you. You've got thoughts. I've been hogging
It's very analytical.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's good. And I agree. It is all about risks and pros, cons, what's going to be more beneficial to your life, blah, 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 blah. Here's my advice. From an outsider looking in, hearing your story. You've always wanted kids. He's always wanted kids. You still can. You might not be able to. Why risk the chance of not having a kid, being that that is all you want? That's all you've ever wanted. People have kids in some very horrible circumstances, and
sometimes no time is the right time.
exactly. You said it best. So just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Go and try and get knocked up. Twins, triplets. Then you're done. One and done. Boom. I couldn't think of a better situation for you. And it does take a village. You have all these people that are around you, could support you. And yeah, it might suck for a while, but as time goes on, kids get easier to take care of in a different sense. Might not be a lot of sleep in the beginning, then they might sleep, and then you got sports and things to do. But again, it takes a village. His mom seems like they're going to be involved. They're controlling.
As long as you just lay down your boundaries.
One of those risks.
Say, here's the hard line. Try to be a little flexible. Knowing from personal experience, say, here's the boundaries. Here's the hard no's, hard yeses, whatever. And then be flexible on the other things that you're okay being flexible on.
Yeah. And you mentioned in your write-in, you're still kind of living paycheck to paycheck. Well, you either are or you aren't. And I will say this, you will adjust to the means that you have to live by and get creative.
But that doesn't dismiss yes, financially it is hard. But like Matt said, actually in the last episode, there is no love like there is for your child. And so if this is something that's been your heart's deepest desire, I just want it for you.
It's the best, hardest job. Yes. Does this sound like it's going to be a hard situation? Yes. But it will be the best, hardest job you ever have. That's what I got.
So Matt thinks you should go for it. I kind of think you maybe should. But I also think, though, that only you can decide. You know the right answer in your heart. So you just need to trust it and follow it and go for it. And whatever that answer is. Because there's many ways to have a family. They're all different. And that's also okay.
And I'm just going to rephrase one thing that I said. When I said living paycheck to paycheck, I kind of jumbled some things, but it was neither of them make the kind of money that they need to start their family. So my wording was off there, but same concept.
Your interpretation was. I mean, heck, we're still living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I think the majority of us are. Anyway, what? All these fuzzies.
I have insanity right now.
I'm trying to groom the dogs and cut their hair and brush them and vacuum 5 million times a day, and their fur is just floating around everywhere all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Creating dust bunnies everywhere.
Dear.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, have a drink.
Okay, now we are adequately prepared.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Dear Matt and Amy, I love the pod, and every time I listen, I learn something new. I hope I can get some advice on an issue that I've been having. I, female, 28, have a boyfriend, male, 24, and have been together for 4 years now, 5 years in February. Last April, we welcomed a beautiful little girl into the world.
Congratulations.
And I couldn't be happier with our little family. This issue arose back in August. So quite a few months ago, and this was just January 9th they wrote in. So we're just a couple weeks behind, but here we go.
Pretty recent. Okay.
This issue arose back in August. My boyfriend and I have friends all over the world, and most of them we have never met in person. Maybe you're gamers. I'm not sure. Tell us more.
Kind of cool.
My boyfriend approached me with plans to go visit them. Dialogue went as follows. Boyfriend: Hey, so I was looking into flights and it looks like it's about $600 round trip to fly to Germany and visit our friends. Don't have to worry about hotels or anything. They said they'd host me. Me. Staring at him confused. Boyfriend? Oh, sorry. I just didn't think you wanted to go. You know, with the baby and all. At the time of all of this, we were picking up my sister from work, so we dropped her off to my mom's and drove home in silence aside from the music. Once back home, I asked my questions. Me. When were you planning on going? Boyfriend. Around February or March. Me. Do you know what we have going on then? Boyfriend. Nothing that I know of. Hence, why I chose this time for everyone. I wanted to scream. Our anniversary, February 20th. Aside, the lease ends the beginning of March. As far as I know, we're looking into moving. I told him of this and he said he forgot. I asked why he thought I wouldn't want to come along. The both of us have never been out of the country. It would have been a really nice experience. I grew too angry to continue the conversation and just walked to the other room to cool down. We don't argue often, but ever since I've become a mother, it's like he still gets to be him and I'm my daughter's mom. That's about it. Months have passed, and I thought that given how our last convo had gone, maybe he wasn't planning on going anymore. There'd been no mention of it until now. One of those friends had gifted our daughter a handmade teddy bear, and we snapped a photo of her snuggled up with it to said friend. 2 days later, my boyfriend approached me saying that our friends are asking if he's still going. My heart sinks, and I tell him we'll discuss it at home. Once home, I begin questioning him again. Are we moving or renewing the lease? Boyfriend, oh yeah, I don't think we're in a financial place to do that right now. Me, well, that answers that. What are we doing with her? I say, gesturing to our daughter. We can't afford childcare, so when one of us is at work, the other is at home watching, and then we swap. Occasionally, my mother will watch her if she has a day off, but that is usually only once or twice a week. Boyfriend, I didn't think about that. I'm not really sure. Me, are you going to be able to pay your half of the shared bills? Yes. The trip, from what I've seen, is dated February 20th to March 2nd. Am I wrong for wanting him to not go on this trip and plan it for another time? Side question, how do I get him and others to see me as me? Or is it just with what comes with the territory of motherhood? I can't just work for the 10 days he's planning on being gone. We still have bills to pay. Some other information that I think everyone should know. We both work at the same job location. Prior to having the baby, the two of us worked the same shift, 3 a.m. to noon, so money really wasn't an issue. I make a little more than him as an assistant manager, about $1,300 for me, $800 for him every 2 weeks before overtime pay is included. After having the baby and not making money as the job does not offer paid maternity leave, I returned to work after 2 weeks because bills were getting behind. Our arrangement now is that I work the morning shift, 3 to noon, 3 a.m. to noon, and he works the afternoon shift, 12 to 6. We would be making the same amount we did prior if he worked until closing shift, 12 to 8, but he refuses to do this as he doesn't like the people on night shift. As far as I know, the only extra income he's received was that his father gifted us $300 for Christmas. Woohoo! Since I make more money, I told my boyfriend he could take the $200 and I took $100 of the gift. He hasn't worked any extra. We're still living paycheck to paycheck. We split rent and utilities evenly. I pay for the subscriptions, Hulu, Disney, Spotify, Amazon, $60, internet, $70, and car insurance, $150. We both have our own student loans that we pay monthly, so I'm just confused as to how he has the funds for this trip, but we struggle with bills sometimes. what's a good way to approach him about seeing his finances / statements or discussing this trip overall? Please help. I'm in dire need.
Friend. I have a lot of feelings about this one.
Oh boy. As you should.
There are many different. Where do I start? Okay. Here's where I'm going to start. Here's where I relate to you so much. You basically came out and you questioned, is this just motherhood? Is this just expected of me now? I feel like he just still gets to be himself and I am treated different and I am different. I'm not like who I was before. I have a loss of freedom. That's what I heard from the write-in that you said. Maybe I don't want to be putting words in your mouth.
That's accurate. That
was my interpretation of it. And that I had those feelings too when I became a mom. I felt like I had a loss of freedom that I was not expecting, that no one prepared me for. And it wasn't like you expected to be home taking care of the baby. You expected that your life was going to be different. Here's what I didn't expect or I didn't realize was that it wasn't going to be equitable between me and Matt. It was a lot easier for Matt to still have his freedom, to still go and do the things that he wanted to do, to meet up with friends and and a lot of it was nursing and a lot of it was just, there becomes this primary caregiver kind of role. I did breastfeeding and so that just naturally kind of fell into that. And I think that made it more difficult. I think that it also made it probably a little bit more tougher for Matt to bond, and he was trying to find his place in the family and the role too. But still, I remember feeling he can just get up and go and just do things, and I can't. Like, we're in this together. We're supposed to be parents and we're supposed to be a team together. And why is this not fair? And so I feel you on that. And so I really, I think that is real. I think that is not something that's just like in your head or just something that it seemed like you kind of question yourself on. Is this just motherhood? I don't think that that's how it necessarily always is or needs to be, but I think that it's a real thing that a lot of people kind of sit with and experience. So that's the first place that I'm going to start with. Second thing that I'm going to say is your partner is not showing up for you. Not even in the whole loss of freedom thing, but in the showing up for you, having these conversations about these trips, which are major trips, and it being a discussion between the two of you. Hey, we have friends in Germany. What do you think about me visiting them? I feel like maybe you wouldn't want to visit them at this point in time, but I'm really like wanting to go. Like, where was that conversation? It seemed to me like it was more of a tell. Like, he was looking at flights. This was when he was planning on going. He assumed that you wouldn't want to go because you just had your baby together. So that really threw me off, that he didn't have that conversation together to find out what you as a couple in this very brand new stage of your life were going to do together. Third thing that I'm going to touch on are finances. Finances can be really tough, especially when you're in the United States. Why you only got 2 weeks of maternity leave, I feel like that's criminal. And I'm sorry that you had to go back to work so soon when you were barely healed because you were falling behind on bills. So I also, it kind of angsts me and angers me that he's prioritizing a trip instead of allowing you to stay home on your maternity leave. If he has the funds to go on a trip to visit friends right after you've given birth, he should have, in my mind, allowed you more time at home to heal, to rest, to be with your family before going back to work, instead of planning a trip and booking a trip to go visit friends. So like that kind of angers me quite a bit. And then we get to the like, are we actually doing this? Is he actually going? And there's also the, are we moving? Are we not moving? Are they moving? Or are they staying in their place?
Boyfriend doesn't think they have the financial means to do it.
Okay. If there isn't the financial means to better your living situation, there's probably not the financial means to go on a trip where flights are $600. And there's like, I love that he has free room and board there, but there's always going to be meals and excursions and things that you're going to do that's going to cost more. And like at this point in time, it just doesn't feel like he's putting your family first. It seems like he's putting himself first to me as an outsider with the write-in. So I like to try to see both sides.
Well,
I'm just not seeing both sides on this one. And
if only you would have heard our fight last night. It's glorious. I love that comment.
I mean,
I'm glad that you do.
I try. I'm not always successful. This is a case. I'm not successful in seeing his side.
I agree. 11 days to be gone and miss work, and the flights to Germany from anywhere in the U.S.
Wait, his trip was going to be 11 days? You know that's only 3 days shy of her maternity leave? After she gave birth to a baby? Guys.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Guys. And then while he's gone, you're going to be like responsible for figuring out childcare for your brand new little baby. And you're still going to be working and you're going to be taking care of that baby by yourself. And you're not going to be sharing diaper changes or nighttime feedings or any of that. It's not the right time. Last story, I was like, only you know, but I feel like I know on this one.
Well, that was to have children.
I know.
This is
to go on a trip. And we love to travel, you guys. Traveling is fabulous. Like, there's so many things you can learn and experience and grow. And you both have never been to Europe. And yes, I agree. It would be great to go and experience Europe for the first time together. Matt and I both have still never gone to Europe. And when we both go, we are going to go together.
Yes.
Okay.
True.
I'm monopolizing the mic on this one. You need to share more of your thoughts because, ooh.
Oh, I was having some computer difficulties, but I'm back. I got it. Yeah, I was just going through some of the details as we were talking. Yep, 11 days. That's a lot. Flights are a lot. Doesn't make a lot of money. I would guess that the flight by itself is 2 weeks worth of pay, $800. Just ballparking it, right? A flight from...
Well, he said $600 was the flight, so...
800.
No, he makes 800 in 2 weeks, and the flight is 600. So that's just shy of 2 weeks of what he earns.
All right.
I was paying attention. $600.
Gosh, you're good. So $600 for the flight, almost 2 weeks worth of work. Yeah, you have friends. You don't need to pay for a rental car. You don't need to pay for a place to stay. That's great. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm going on a free trip to Mexico here for a President's Club trip. And I've gone on this trip for the last 4 years, and we're only gone for 5 days. And that's 2 days of travel and 3 days actually there. I spend a fair amount on food, excursions, going out, going to a spa from time to time if it's available at the resort. It's just expensive all
there are
around.
things that
There's
you
just
want
things
to
that you
do.
want
There's
to
more
do.
things that
So,
crop
and if
up.
you're living paycheck to paycheck for the most part, and you're having trouble figuring out if you're going to move or not move because finances, it just
are
doesn't.
hard, yeah.
It just doesn't seem like it's appropriate for you to leave. And now I'm going to go back to the beginning. Yeah, he's just not being a good partner. That conversation never happened. I would never plan a trip and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to go visit our friends in the cities without you, which is only 2 hours away.
Right.
I just wouldn't plan something without at least consulting you and then having some justification as to why I was going to leave you behind.
I just figured you wouldn't want to come. That was his justification.
Yeah. And the only other side of this is devil's advocate momentarily. Your friends, you never laid out the gender. Are they all guy friends? You've never met them in person. I assume it's from gaming of some sort. It's got to be, right?
I don't know.
Or
Could
club
be.
somehow connecting over the internet. Either way, if I came to you and said, hey, me, Pete, Ryan, and Nate are planning to go to Vegas, just so you know, I'm probably not going to invite you to that trip, but I'm still going to run it by you.
Hey, is that okay with you?
That's a guy's trip. Hey, I'm going to do a guy's trip. I'm going to go out and do this.
Are these dates okay with you? Like, have we checked everything off, like, for the family okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beyond that, he's being a shitty person. You need to call him out and just ask, hey, why are you not thinking of me, our daughter, our finances, our life, our well-being? And I'm going to throw this one last thing out there. At 24 years old, I was in no position to probably be in a very serious relationship and making a lot of decisions. I needed a lot of growth personally, and 24 to me is still young. I wouldn't say that I really started to like get it until 26. A lot of the things.
Okay.
So
it needs to be spelled out to him. In other words.
Yeah, and is he going to take that well? Is it going to be well received? I'm not sure. At 24, I think that we were on the tail end of like fighting a lot over like certain things.
We weren't ready. We weren't ready for each other, but that's not everybody's story.
True, and it's
there
not, but
people that get married
just
much
feels
younger
like
than we did and do just fine.
And she's got 4 years on this person. I'm just saying 24 to me still seems...
He might still be working on his frontal lobe.
There you go. All right. I hope that helps. As far as how to approach him about his financial statements and figure out where the money's going, what it's doing. You guys have a child together. You live together. Do what Amy does. Start bi-weekly budget meetings. Hey, we're going to sit down and figure out, like, are our goals the same?
Every payday, you just go through your budget and you go through what you spent and you go through what you brought in and you take a peek at it. And I highly recommend it.
And I know you guys aren't married yet, but this is also part of the conversation of what are our goals. We have a daughter. Are we getting married? Are we trekking down this path of continuing our life together? Or what are your thoughts on that? Do you want to get married? Do you want to just continue status quo? Right? Some people don't want to get married. Have you had that conversation? What does that look like for you and your daughter? If he says, no, I don't want to get married. red flag.
I mean, some people are okay with that.
True.
So again, it's
Right.
what do you want? Just like let's make sure that your goals are aligned and your financial goals are aligned as well, so that you're not like footing all of the bills and it's not equitable between the two of you.
It just seems like there's a lot of red flags here, and he's being a shitty person.
We're not saying boot him to the curb. I'm not saying boot him to the curb unless
I'm not
he
saying that either.
reacts poorly
But I
to
think you need to call him out and make him very well aware of the situation that he is putting you in.
I just hope that he is intrinsically aware of this. And if he's not, maybe he just needs to listen to this episode. I don't know.
There you go.
There we go. We'll do your dirty work and your hard work for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Dude, stay home. Take care of your wife and your brand new daughter. That's the best decision.
It's the right choice.
That is the right choice. You can always go to Europe later. Even next year, it's going to be 10 times easier. You can save up a little bit. It's not going to put such a financial strain on your relationship. You can have more time to like plan the fun things that you want to do. Be more in a financial place where you can do more fun things in Germany. I mean, if your friends are your friends, they're still going to be there 1 year from now.
True.
So just take a rain check.
Rain check.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was what we had for the listener write-ins for tonight.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube.
I know.
Instagram.
We're still trying to grow this thing.
Yeah. We really appreciate you.
We do.
Subscribe.
Thank you for your comments and your love, and everybody's always so kind. So I really appreciate you bringing the Midwest nice or the Minnesota nice to the comments.
There we go. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.